Good afternoon, Keith. Thank you very much for giving me your precious time to do this interview for my school project. I'm in this business entrepreneurship class, and the assignment that we have received earlier in the semester was to come up with a thing or a service or something that would satisfy a need that we established that our community would have. And so after some research, I have decided to go with a project surrounding recycling. Being originally from Switzerland, which is considered the world champion in recycling, I find myself knowledgeable to some degree in how it can possibly be done in a decent and very successful way. And along the way, I have already learned a lot of different things and how it works here versus back in Switzerland.
Right.
So I'm in the stage where I have a general concept, and I'm going to briefly share it with you. And now the next thing is that part. What is the next thing after we established that concept and starting it? How can we then move from that to the next thing? So kind of that's where we're with this particular part of the project.
Okay.
The idea is to make recycling more accessible for people in the DFW area. I'm sure your condo complex has some recycling service too. However, they're generally quite limited. They just take the very basics on cans and glass, some plastic, and that's about it. But there's a long list of things that we still just throw in the trash because we don't have another place to do what else to do with it. And the general recycling companies don't really want to deal with it, or don't too much of an effort, however it works. So my idea was initially to have a recycling station or multiple recycling stations throughout Dallas, until I realized it uses a lot of space and it's quite expensive to have the space. And so, and I as well interviewed with some of the professionals in that industry that say, you know, just because you could recycling it doesn't mean that there's a market for it that then takes it off of you after you collected it.
Right.
Having said all of this, I came up with an idea for what would be the next stage of this project. And I thought of an idea that it would be a local area where it would be more like a pop-up recycling station. So you do not have the restrictions of a permanent recycling place. You don't have the problems that those areas generally, if you think, are in less desirable areas, if you think of the most recycling places, and they look quite trashy.
Right.
I'm trying to avoid those two things and make it convenient in a place. So the idea I came up with having like a trailer-ish kind of thing that has slots on the outside where people then can throw things in. So it's a portable unit that you drive on the lot, partnering, let's say, with a church, because there's plenty of churches in Dallas that then can as well mobilize their congregation by saying, hey, we want to be invited, we want to take care of our planet because God tells us we're supposed to take care of our planet. So, hey, bring your stuff to church and you can recycle it right in our parking lot. So we would drive up, they can do recycling, and we'll drive off again. So right. Kind of the idea. So having presented that to you, what should we be doing in this planning area at time? What do you feel we may not, what I have not thought of in this concept, this idea, this new thing that you just comes to your mind? And what do you think about the idea in general?
I love the idea because quite frankly, the Renaissance, which is basically, 600 condos. So it's like a 600 home neighborhood. And our our recycling plan is just horrible because the building was built in 1998. And this is an example of probably most of the condos, and I'm thinking of this area here.
Yeah.
Most of the condos, the high rises on Turtle Creek that were built from the 60s to maybe early or late 90s. They didn't plan for recycling the way we need to plan today. So for example, if I have trash, the only place I can take recycling, I have to go down the elevator, walk across the garage, and there's just one bin for all recycling. Whereas with trash, there's a trash chute, and you open the chute, throw the trash down, and it drops down 10 floors. Most people, I'd say 90% of the people in this building don't recycle because of the inconvenience. But I think there's a huge opportunity for it, especially the way you're talking about it, where you offer different slots for different things, kind of, because the Renaissance does a bulk trash day at least once every 2 months, sometimes once a month, where people can bring down big trash items that they can't normally get rid of, like you can at your house, where you can put something out on bulk trash day or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great idea. The issue I see is, I guess, how often would you do it? And how do people, what's the best way for them to keep the stuff, separate the items in advance, or if they can't separate the items in advance, in preparation for you guys or the truck to come, where would they put it? Like, take it down to the recycling area, and then volunteers from here, because you could get volunteers from condos. I swear you could. That would love to help do that.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So the extended idea is as well to help individuals that live at the margin that somehow fall through the cracks, to give them an employment option, but at the same time help them with their issues, whatever issues they have, that they got to the point they are. Some of them are things that can be helped with counselors and whatnot to assist and program in that. There is that things can be collected at home of residence. However, not everybody wants people to walk through their complex. We just signed somebody up here in our complex that they walk through the complex and collect blue bags with us. That doesn't work in all of the
high rises,
high rises and whatnot. So here it's a little bit easier, but having the ability to have, depending on the frequency, that has to be kind of determined how we come up with what the is. So that has to be kind of figured it out. As well on what can they do regularly and how long do people want to keep the regular things. We just specialize ourselves on just specialty things. It's going to be harder as well to make to pay for the whole thing. So what we would need is we would still rely on those basic things like cardboard, paper, stick and glass, because there is money, and that stuff is real money that you can turn around and people will contact you. I found out there are hunters that will contact those recycling places to buy off from them their stuff.
We get Fabian, we get on average 2,000 to 3,000 packages delivered to the Renaissance a month. And most of those are cardboard. Huge opportunity.
So the amount of cardboard that could be collected can pay for a lot. The idea is, like, if you go through the trouble, you can actually get money for that cardboard. The idea is this collection station that it can fund itself. You receive all that stuff for free from all the people, and then turn around and pay our support, pay our operations for it. So that's kind
Yeah.
of concept.
That would be great. That would be great. Cause right now, I think, what people do recycle, they, cause they're not supposed to drop the cardboard down the chutes, but some of them do anyway. But if they do take it out to the recycle, it's overflowed. It's like they pay some company that comes in and just gets everything, and it's all mixed together. It doesn't say cardboard, plastic. It's just all mixed together. So that you could definitely do something like that where you split it up like that, especially the cardboard, and that'd be the easiest to do.
Yeah, and if it's on the way for you go and run errands or going to
right, yeah,
work, you're like,
right,
hey,
right.
and at the same time, I'm supporting a good cause.
Right, exactly. Yep, that would be. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. You could even do drives like that, even at the park. Like at Arlington Hall at Turtle Creek Park. You could also have pickup points there, because there are condos that aren't as big,
Yeah,
don't have as many.
Yeah, that could be something like that you do that. But I found more like a local place, like, hey, if we can partner with Kroger and we'll do something in their
Right,
spot, or do something at the
right,
church. And there's, I mean, in Oaklawn itself, there's so many churches that we could use a park
right,
for a couple of hours a day.
right.
That
Yeah,
we could set up a mobile and then have the big collection station somewhere outside Dallas
right,
that where the property land is not as expensive and you can actually have a recycling station.
right. Yeah, exactly. So you asked about other problems. So what do you think the are issues? What do you think do you think there'll be an issue in getting people to separate their items? Because normally if you're walking down like a amusement park or something, it says paper or plastic or whatever, what do you, most people probably throw it all in one bag. So
yeah,
that's what I do. Except for the cardboard. The cardboard I just fold up and carry it down in a big bunch at one time.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some of the stuff you can easily eliminate the possibility on what you can throw in by the slot size that you're doing.
Right.
Obviously, there's somebody that would be at the collection station that is operating it, and they can assist as well at the same time. Hey, I'll help you get this sorted out. It's about people getting used to it. Completely not really common in Switzerland. I mean, you sort it by color of glass. That's how it's.
Oh, really?
They go by white, brown, green, and then those are the most common ones. You have literally containers throughout the city and everywhere where you sort your own glass, and here you put your metal cans in, and here you put your plastic bottles in, and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's another whole thing, is the whole plastic bottle issue. People are not used to toss them and whatnot. So there's potentials that we have, we just don't utilize it.
Have you also considered, so did you say something about a certain percentage of the proceeds would go to something? Did you say that about?
So no, what it was, the entire operation is financed through whatever we collect that would be sold to remanufacturers, and then the proceeds of that would pay the employees and their so-called transformation program that I have in mind, that them get back on their feet, because some people just made a bad decision and then just threw everything off, and it had a leap effect, where I hope with a program like that, hey, we'll give you this and this professional assistance that
that's good.
Get things back together.
Yeah. And I actually think by you marketing it that way, it would really, you could get places that would normally just use the commercial services that you know, just haul it off and just, if they knew the money they were spending or whatever, you know, was going towards, or that you guys are making was going towards the cause, I think you could, that'd be a great way to both grow the business. No question. No
Yeah.
question. So that's I just think that's a great way to grow the business. So,
Yeah. So thank you very much for your time. This is probably about enough information that I need for this project.
okay.
Appreciate your time. I'm going to stop the recording here now.
Okay.